to the second tutorial of AutoCAD 2020. Today I will be giving you a tour of the program and showing you its many features. Let's get started. Whenever you open up AutoCAD 2020, this is the home screen that will appear. Of course, you won't have these here. The recent document shows your recent projects that you've been working on. Here you can open files, open a sheet set, get more templates online, or explore sample drawings. Here is where you can start a new drawing if you're trying to start from scratch or build from the ground up. On the side you'll see the word Learn. If you click on it, it'll take you to Learn, or you can click here on the bottom. Let's go back to Create. You can change the view for this. You can customize your ribbon and send feedback for the program. Let's start off by starting a new drawing. We're not going to use templates for now. So this is what it looks like when you're in a new drawing. Here you have different layouts. We're currently on the model layout where you build. Here's layout 1 and layout 2. You can create title blocks if you wanted to, or print them out. Here in the bottom you can type a command, but you don't really have to click on it. You just type any command you need and click enter. You can customize it or close it. Here you have the model or paper space. You can choose it to display the grid. Snap mode allows you to, let's say, make a line and snap to any of the grid marks. The polar snap, or you can even change the settings for snap. Restrict cursor orthogonally. Restrict cursor for certain specified angles. Currently have it on. Here are the different angles. You see how you have the cursor with the X, Y, and Z axis? You could change that if you wanted to. You can change it to isoplane. You can change it to isoplane left, isoplane top, or isoplane right. Let's keep it on isoplane left. Here you have stop cursor, snap cursor to 2D reference points. Let's say 2D objects. Let's use rectangle as an example. So for 2D shapes, snap to each of these corners. This is 2D. Here you have show annotation objects and scales to annotate objects when the annotation scales change. Annotation scale on the cursor current view. Here's the ratio or annotation scale of the current view. If you click on it, you can see the aspect ratios. For now, we'll keep it to 1:1. Here's workspace switching. Crafting annotation is the current one. We also got 2D basics. I'm going to keep it on drafting annotation. You can also customize the workspace and save it depending on what you want to use it for. You can save different workspaces for whatever you need. You have annotation monitor, isolate objects, clean screen, and customization. That's all you have here. If you click on this little triangle next to snap cursor to 2D reference points, here you can see all the snaps, or so-called O snaps. You can turn them on and off. So this end point, if you have it on, As you click on the object, it'll snap to this endpoint. This is an endpoint, and you know the rest. Next one is midpoint. This is the midpoint, center. Your center be the center of a circle. Geometric center of this. Really can't use that. There's node, quadrant, intersection, extension, insertion, perpendicular, tangent, nearest. Nearest would go to the nearest point. As if there was no specific point to select, it would go to the nearest point. Apparent intersection and parallel. You can also change the settings for them. To highlight things, let's say if you wanted to delete them, if you left click and move towards the right, you get this shape thing. It won't be a specific shape. It will select this. It will select some pieces but not all. If you really wanted to select everything, left click and drag it to the left, and it'll select it. You could also do the same. If you didn't want to drag it, you can just click once and it'll specify the length and width of what you want to select. So whenever you start a drawing, the XYZ axis here, this is the origin. You know, like 0, 0 on a grid. Yeah, this is the same thing. You have full navigation wheel, hand tool, zoom extends, and orbit, and slow motion. So here's the cube. You can see all the views. We're currently on this corner, the top corner. So if you click on home, we're in the corner. There's a left, front, right, and back view. There's top and bottom, and you have these sides. You can change the views depending on what you want to see or where you need to edit. You can change the views to create a custom view if you wanted to or needed to. For now, we're gonna keep it like this. If you go here, you see the view, custom view. That's what it looks like in northeast isometric. And I'm gonna keep it on top or home view. Here you see how this is just one line, looks like a line. Even if you turn it into 3D object, it'll still look like this. Because it's 2D wireframe, and you can change it to conceptual. Okay, extruded it just to make it 3-dimensional. You see how it's no longer a line or lines. Now it's conceptual, is filled in. You also have hidden, realistic, shaded with edges, shaded of gray or shades of gray, sketchy, wireframe, and X-ray. Now here on the top, here you have the tabs. You can start a new project or current project. So up here you have the ribbon, where you have all the tools and options, and you have different tabs. Let's start by looking at this. If you click on the AutoCAD, it's basically like File tab you see in other programs. Create new document, open, save, save as, import, export, publish, print, and all that. Here you have new. Here you have all the same options, but you have icons for them. You can also customize what you see here. You can add more. You can click on any of these and add them, or just keep the ones you need. Here you can, if you don't know the exact name of a command, you can type it in here and it'll show you where it is. Here you can manage your account, shop for stuff, I guess, and stay connected. Here's the help icon, help button, and that's it. Let's start looking at this. We're gonna delete this thing, and let's look at the line. Here you have draw. These are the basic things. Here you have draw, basic stuff. Here if you click on line, it's just a basic line. Click enter and you're done. You see how it's two separate lines? Yeah, that's what line does. If you wanted a line that's all together, so you don't have to join them manually, you can just do P line or polyline, make it however long you want. Continues on, click enter when you're done. Here's all one piece. You can even extend it. Circle. There are different circles. Regular circle, center radius, center diameter, 2 point, 3 point, 10, in radius, tangent, tangent, tangent. Depending on whatever you need to add the circle to. You can snap to corners and stuff. Let's look at this one. Specify the radius. Let's say 30. Diameter is 30. So that's the basic circle. Let's take a look at the center diameter. Center is going to be 0,0 for this case. Let's make the diameter 2.000. There you go. Let's delete that. Here's 2 points. Let's say if you had a box and you wanted to draw a circle in between it. There we go. By the way, if you wanted to move this workspace like this, just push down the scroll wheel button. Now let's look at the 2 point circle. Here you see midpoint. We're going to make that 1 point and make it as big as that. Snap to the other midpoint. There you go. So let's take a look at 3 point. That's basically the same thing. We'll just snap to 3 points instead and just delete the circle. And let's do it like this. Midpoint, midpoint, midpoint. So 3 points, or 3 midpoints in this case. So tan radius, or tangent radius. I'm just going to use this. Okay. There you go. I didn't use it properly. It uses tangent, and radius. So that's an example of it. And there's also this one. That's an example. Now if you click on arc, it makes like a curved line. So let's use 0,0 as a starting point. I'm gonna use this as the next point, alright? There you go. That's an arc. A regular arc. There are different types: start, center, end, start, center, angle, start, center, line, and down and so forth. Here's start, center, end. Let's specify center point, 0,0. You see? 90. Yeah, by the way, if you look at your cursor, it will show you the degree angle that you currently have. That's 180. Okay, we're gonna keep it 180. 180. There's a full 180. Here you have hatch, 0,0. It creates a hatch. You also have different types of hatches. As an example, if you wanted to read that, it fills in an enclosed area or selected objects with a hatch pattern. So it fills it in pretty much. You have hatch, regular, gradient, or boundary. Here you can create an ellipse or circle. Start at 0,0. I'm just going to use that as the next point. So an ellipse is basically a circle. I'm just going to do it like that. There you go. Now you can also do the same thing with axis end, ellipse, arc. So different types. Here you have the rectangle that I was using before. You can also type these as well if you didn't want to go up here. Okay, here you have a polygon. So you have to specify how many sides you want. Let's just use hexagon, so 6 sides, yeah. Let's do start at 0,0. Inscribed in circle or circumscribed about circle. Let's use the first option. So that's what it looks like. We're just gonna make like that. There you go. The polyline, by the way, the word poly means many. So poly, many lines. Polygon, many sides. Here, if you click on this triangle here, you'll have more options. There's a spline. Let's just show you what it does. 0,0. I'm going to continue here. It basically curves at every point you select. Keeps curving it. Here's also spline CV. I don't want spline fit. Let's try CV. 0,0. This one goes at angles instead of curves. Or still does curves, but it bases them off of the angles. As you can see here. Construction line. Let's try 0, here you see start at 0. Goes all the way to the end of the grade. So these you can use them to build as a reference. The construction lines go all the way from one end to the other. The array line goes from the one point and it goes infinitely, but it doesn't go from end to end. Here is divide. It creates evenly spaced point objects or blocks along the length perimeter of an object. It's measure. You can measure. It creates points. Creates point objects. Okay. Next we have region. Let's say if you had multiple lines that you wanted to put together, you can highlight them all and put them together in one piece. It converts an object that encloses an area into a region object. There you go. Here's wipeout. Shows you what it does right there. Here's 3D polyline. Here we have a helix, creates a 2D spiral or 3D spring. Start at 0,0. Usual. You can choose the length, the width, and diameter and height. You can do like that. So that's a helix. A rectangular revision cloud. Here we have donut. It creates a filled circle or a wide ring. Modify. Here you have move, or you can type it. So you select the object you want it to move. Specify base point. In this case, it's going to be that. The center of the circle. We're just going to move it there. Okay. Next we have copy, which copies an object. Next we have copy, which copies the object. So select the objects you want to copy. Specify the base point. We're going to base it off of this. We're going to, let's just say, move it here. That's fine. You can continue copying or just press enter to finish. Next we have stretch, which stretches objects crossed by a selection window or polygon. Next we have rotate. First we're going to just draw a rectangle. 0, 0. We're just going to make it like this, okay? Rotate. We're going to click on the object we want to rotate, which is a rectangle. Rotate, specify base point. We're just going to use this. No, let's use this point. See, it rotates it. Do like that. You can rotate objects. Here you have mirror. Go into mirror an object. Okay, click it. Here we're gonna select this first joint and the next joint here. So it makes a copy of it next to it. Erase source objects, yes, you can erase that. Or you can keep it. Erase scale. Enlarges or reduces selected objects, keeping in the properties of the object the same after scaling. You can change the size of it. So when you click scale, click on the object you want to scale. Specify base point. And we're just going to do that. There you go. Here you have trim. We're going to select these two lines. Okay. Here, when it gives you the X, you can trim it. We're just going to make these equal. There you go. Okay, here we have a square that I extruded up. Okay, I'm going to show you these options here. First, we're going to start with fillet, which rounds the edges. Curve the edge. There you go. Next, I'm going to show you what chamfer does. Let's start. Click it. I'm going to select this edge. Click OK. So specify base surface chamfer distance. OK. Select the bottom endpoint. Go up to the top endpoint. Now select the line I created. Enter, and there you go. Chamfered the edge. So I created these two lines just as a reference point. You don't actually need them, but it's useful to use them. You also have blend curves, which creates a tangent or smooth spline between the endpoints of two open curves. Okay, arrays. Here's rectangular array, path array, and polar array. A rectangular array. Click the object you want to put in the array. This is what it looks like right away. Here on the top, you'll see more options to customize it. We're going to use I'm going to use 2 columns and 3 rows. You can customize this anyways. You can customize the array itself. Okay. Close array. Here you have more options. Oh yeah, you have erase, removes objects from a drawing. Here you have explode, which I'll show you what it does. I'm going to show you some more commands that will be useful. If you type in mtext, okay, that's fine for this example. I'm just going to type in hello. Okay. I'm going to type in txt to mtext. This I'm going to type in txt exp. I'll text explode. Do it once more. exp. Explode. Now zoom in, delete any other lines that are not necessary. So that's what explode does. Okay, let's say if you wanted to put them all together again, highlight them all the pieces for the letters. Type in region. Highlight everything. Click enter. Finish highlighting. Click enter. Now they're all one piece. Okay, next we have offset, concentric circles, parallel lines, and parallel curves. Okay, you have more options. Change space, move objects between model space and paper space. Set to by layer. Change the property overrides of selected objects to by layer. Here lengthen. So next we have the text option. There is multi-line text, multiple sentences, and you have single line. So this one here is multi-line, but I didn't add any more text. You can create multiple lines. This one is single line text, which will let you create another line. Always be one straight line. Dimensions. It'll give you the dimensions for each of these objects and lines, depending on whatever you need them for. You can select any of these to find the dimensions. If you click on the regular dimension, it'll give you this one right here, all these two. Any angled, this one right here, or angular goes this way. Yeah, radius and diameter. And you have other options for them, depending on what you use them. You have ordinate, creates ordinate dimensions. Jogged, creates jogged dimensions for circles and arcs. Radius, arc length, angular, aligned, and linear. You see these things here? These are leaders. You can change them around. You have table, which is like a spreadsheet, pretty much. Let's try it out. I'm just going to use it like that, the basic stuff. I'm going to place it here. Yeah, so it's basically a spreadsheet. You have any customization options for it? I'm just going to remove that. Actually, let's just keep it. You can just type in whatever you need to type in. Layer properties, you can see depending on all the layers you have, you can adjust them and create, insert, create, edit, and then attributes. More options. Here, match properties, by layer. Here, you see here, I select it. I set this one to by layer, red. Group, you can group objects and ungroup them. You can also group edit and group selection on and off. Measure, which is like a ruler pretty much. I'm going to select that endpoint into the rectangle, and this here in this box that's gray, it shows you the length of it or distance. Pretty much does the same thing as the dimensions, but it doesn't keep them on this workspace. It just gives you the length, gives you the dimension, and once you Done with it, he just removes it. He also have all these other options depending on what you're trying to measure. Here's utilities. Here's paste, like when you copy something and paste it in. Paste, you can import things, apparently. Here's selection mode, which is this cursor. Some of the tools you see here, you can also find in the home ribbon. This is all block stuff, which I never use. Let's just try creating a block, just for the tutorial. I'm just gonna select this, hit enter. That's one block, so I put them all together in one piece. You can edit blocks. You have all these options. Here's attach. You can insert references to external files such as other drawings. So you can edit information or label things. Here is clip. Clip a block, externally referenced file, or whatever. Adjust the fade, contrast, brightness, and monochrome settings of an image, or underlay. Here's all more customization options depending on what you're trying to do, like link files. PDF import. You can import data from a PDF page of PDF file. Recognize SHX text. Convert imported SHX geometry from PDF files. Okay. Recognition settings and all that. This is import. Combine text. Combines multiple text objects. Let's try that out. Like that and this. Combine text. There you go, it's one line. Or it's one object, I should say. Here is field, inserts a string of text that can be updated automatically as the field value changes. Okay, update fields. OLE object, hyperlink. So there's data. You can add data. These are all data management stuff. Set location on the project. Just go to Annotate. Here's center lines. Centerline mark creates an associated cross-shaped mark at the center of a selected circle. Try that out. I'm going to turn off that thing. There you go, it creates a center line. This will also normally go on the title block. Here's wipeout, create a wipeout object. That's what it does. Revision cloud, rectangular revision cloud. Create a revision cloud drawing a rectangle. Here's just like annotation. It's a markup option. Possibly make notes. There's add current scale. Add the current annotation scale to the selected annotated object. Scale list. Add delete scales. Sync scale positions. All that options. Next we have the parametric tab. Here you can add auto constraint. Applies multiple geometric constraints to the selected objects. Here's geometric. Here are some options. Coincident constrains 2 points to coincide, or a point to lie anywhere on an object or the extension of an object. Here's collinear, constrains 2 lines to lie on the same infinite line. Concentric constrains selected circles, arcs, or ellipses to maintain the same center point. Here's delete constraints, which deletes them. Here's parametric manager. Next we have view. If you look at the origin right here, XYZ, or XYZ. Yeah, if you turn it off, it'll make it invisible. Here's view cube. You see this cube here to view. You can remove it or show hide. Navigation bar, you can turn it on and off. So you can customize the layout of the workspace depending on what you want and how you feel comfortable using it. You can also create new views depending on how you're trying to build or what you're trying to build, and if you have to change between views to make things work. Create a new view. Here's all the options. Here's the menu for creating a new view. Right now I'm not going to do that. Here's viewport configuration for equal. Just to show you, it changes how many you have here. Let's say if you were on the title block and you were trying to add the dimension stuff and show each like top, front, and back, like each view, you could adjust each one. It's named displays a list of say viewport configurations in the drawing. Join combines two adjacent model viewports into one larger viewport. Restore viewports. Toggle between a single viewport and the last multiple viewport configuration. Here's DWG compare or drawing compare. Allows you to highlight the differences between two revisions of the same drawing or different drawings. Tool palette. Open or closes the tool palette. Properties for the palettes. Blocks. Street set manager. Open or close the sheet set manager. Design center. Open or close the design center window. Layer properties. Command line, which is right here. And external reference palette. Quick calculator. By the way, the quick calculator is right here. If you want to move it, just hold it here. Let's test it out. 7 plus. It works, as you would expect. So here we have record, or action recorder, and its controls. Here we have more options to customize your program. You can also export and import. So macros here. Your CAD standards, layer translator, check, configure. Here we have cleanup. So find non-purgeable items. There's purge, overkill, audit. These are all plotting options and printing options. This is to export your file or drawing. Add-ins, you can add things to the program. I don't have anything right now. Collaborate, you can collaborate with others. Shared views, drawing compare. Express tools, more block stuff. Here's arc aligned. Create text following a selected arc. Let's try that out actually. I'm gonna try selecting the arc, but let me turn off the snap grid. I'm gonna just say my name, Kenneth. You can customize it with factor. I'm gonna put it for 0-400. Okay, let's change the font to something else. Let's change it to that. Okay, let's just do it. There you go. Now you have it around the arc. So, here you have modified text. Code, which we used before to make this text here hello. We broke it up into pieces. We removed the unnecessary ones and grouped together. Okay, now we're going to modify change case. Hit enter. Let's try this. toggle case. That's what it does. Let's change it back to sentence case. Next we have rotate. We're gonna rotate this. There you go. Next we have fit. Fits between specified points. Next we have justify, which justifies text created with mtext and ATTDEF. These are the text customization options. There's also remote text, which inserts or edits a remote text object. Text mask places a mask behind selected text and removes the mask. Okay. Here's convert to mtext. So the command we entered earlier to turn it into mtext. That's the same command. Here's auto number. Adds sequential numbering to text objects. Enclosed an object, surrounds text or multiple text with circles, slots or rectangles. Let's see what that does. Do circles, variable, and there you go. It's a circle around it. Here we have move, copy, and rotate. Moves, copies, rotates, and scales objects. Let's try that out. Place point, I'm just going to use this. Here you have all the options again. Let's copy it. I'm going to move it there. Now that's what you get. Here you have layouts. You can align space, synchronize viewport, emerge layout, more viewport options, draw, break line symbol. Let's see. There you go, it's a break line symbol. That's not how it's supposed to be used. Here's super hatch. Uses images, blocks, external references, or wipeouts as hatch patterns. So we could possibly import an image to this. Just try that out. I'm going to import a file. Okay, I found an image. I'm going to fit it inside this if possible. There you go. So here we have annotation attachment. Associates a leader to an annotation object. So leaders were the dimensions we saw earlier. Here's reset text. Reassociates dimensions. Import style. Import dimension style saved to a file, dim.x. You can also export dimension styles. Here's command aliases. Launches an editor for aliases stored in the AutoCAD PGP file. And all these other options. Here's URL options. Also here, featured apps. You can import apps to this program. And here you can minimize the panel if necessary. That's pretty much all you have here so far. Here's the layouts. You can customize them if you need. That's pretty much all we're doing for today. I might do another tutorial at some point. Hopefully it was useful to you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.